Hey all, Steffen here, coming to you from Tallinn in Estonia. So the next time you're wondering who in their right mind would visit Estonia in the wintertime, now you don't have to wonder. So today's question is about right turn on red. A community member asked for my thoughts on right turn on red. So if you are not familiar with this and you're not from the United States, the US's traffic laws works a little bit differently at signalized intersections. And the concept is that when you approach an intersection and the signal is red and you want to turn right, you have to look both ways, and if there is no traffic conflicting with you, you are allowed to turn right even when the signal is red. And people from the US, if you're wondering, that is a big no-no in almost the rest of the world. The US is pretty unique in allowing that. If you're wondering why is Steffen wearing camo in the middle of the winter in Estonia, don't worry, that question will come soon in a future video. It's important to understand that right turn on red was introduced in the United States around the 1970s as a response to the OPEC oil embargo, when they were trying to find any way they could to reduce the gas shortage. The thinking was that if people approached a red light and there was no oncoming traffic, people could reduce waiting times at intersections, turn right, and then save a little bit of gas instead of having to idle in long queues. This was a pretty questionable attempt, and it kind of morphed into something else entirely. And people just kind of got used to not having to wait to turn right on reds, and now it's pretty much a standard in the United States. What are my thoughts on right turn on red? It's going to be pretty much all negative, and that's because using right turn on red as a way to save gas is pretty laughable when you have a country where they develop in a way where you have to use a car to do any kind of trip at all. So a measure like that is really going to end up accomplishing nothing. But the bigger issue has to do with safety. So traffic engineers, like any other kind of civil engineers, are ethically obligated to put the public safety above every other aspect when it comes to their designs. And right turn on red is a classic example of traffic engineers ignoring that. Intersections are already the most dangerous point in the United States road system. And what we are essentially doing with right turn on red is programming in a conflict. So when cars can turn right on red, that's usually conflicting with the pedestrian phase, where pedestrians who are parallel to the connecting leg of the intersection can walk straight ahead, and then right turn on red traffic conflicts with the pedestrian motion. So instead of deconflicting conflict points, the traffic engineers are purposely conflicting traffic movements between pedestrians and cars in a really lazy attempt to try to shave a few seconds of waiting time off the cars. Actually, something that traffic engineers also do with left turns sometimes, where they will allow cars to turn left during a pedestrian phase on the leg of the road that the cars are turning onto. People who defend right turn on red will talk about how when you have these big intersections where there's almost no pedestrians, it doesn't really make sense to force cars to wait during a right turn phase when there's almost no pedestrians to begin with. But this is really a case of lazy traffic engineering and traffic signal programming, because there's no reason why then you could not have a green phase for pedestrians be programmed in just with a push button. So 95% of the time, the pedestrian walk phase would be red. Cars could turn straight, cars could turn right, cars could do any motion that they needed to do, and then the pedestrian phase would only turn green when the push button is requested, and then the specific right turn motion would not be allowed. But of course, that takes some creative thinking and ingenuity, which are often traits that are lacking in US traffic engineering. This is actually exactly how it works in the Netherlands, where we have big intersections out in the country and very low volumes of pedestrians. There's usually not a programmed in walk phase, and cyclists and pedestrians will have to come up, press a button, wait for their green, and then they get a completely deconflicted phase across all at once. It's better for cars, it's better for pedestrians, and it's just good traffic engineering, which is not what right turn on red is.